All right, it just keeps getting better with stocks in socks. I've actually got the face of steak, and you've taken that mantle from me, so massive appreciation. Alex Barrat, how are you?
Very well, Matt. Thank you very much for having me on.
Now it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in the office. You've been too busy doing your politics, whatever you do, getting votes around town.
Playing a lot of golf recently. It's nice working from home.
Oh, really? Well, is your home a golf course, is it? All your winnings? Bought yourself a little bit of a golf course?
Yeah, I'll be there soon enough, hopefully, if some of these stock tips keep going up.
And notice a nice piece of artwork behind you. Is that from Solo? That one paid by Solo?
Yeah, I don't think it's worth too much. It looks pretty, doesn't it? Very Australian looking, but I'm not sure where it came from. I don't think it's particularly valuable.
Just inherited it. Are you at home with the, at the fam?
Yeah, I'm still at home with the family, trying not to kill each other, but we're doing well so far. Everyone's getting on.
We'll keep the language down then.
Yeah.
So why it's so good to have you on is obviously, we keep up in the ante when it comes to guests, and we've had, VCs from US, we've had Koshi, we've had Chris Judd, and now we've got you. It's like you fit perfectly in there, I'd say.
Yeah, I've still got a long way to go before I hopefully fit into that tier. Don't know if it's a step up this time, but maybe in 30, 40 years, we'll see. But very happy to be in that company.
In the office, you've got a bit of a good reputation for suggesting some stocks that have been flying. So it's obviously been a pretty good run for you. Do you want to just talk through how you invest?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to pick winners at the moment when the Fed's printing so much money and the market keeps going up. A rising tide lifts all ships, but has been a pretty good streak at the moment. I do a lot of my investing and trading based on chart analysis, technical analysis, and there have been a lot of good setups recently that have led to some pretty good trades.
Yeah, no, you've pinged me at like 10:30. No, what about this one? What do you reckon of that one? If I just didn't fall asleep, maybe I'd also make some money, but what can you do? So your story, I mean, when I actually had LinkedIn, I think you're the first person ever to reach out to me way back in, 2017?
Yeah, before you were Mr. Anonymous and you were on social media, I sent you a LinkedIn message. I saw Stake had opened up in Australia. It was before they actually went to $0 brokerage. And I really loved the idea. I was looking for a broker myself. It was pretty hard 4 or 5 years ago to find a place to trade shares, especially with an 18-year-old's budget. And you were kind enough to say, yeah, come in, see how it goes. And 3 years later, here we are. So
you could say you're my biggest winner when it comes to Stake, right? In terms of employees, one of the longest serving here.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think only Mark and Tian were around before me.
Nice. Well, you did have the title of head of interns for a while, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, that was before Tian turned into Elon Musk and was the the best software engineer we've seen.
The GOAT. Yeah. No, okay. So what did you study, Alex? I mean, I know the answer, but, your story, you're so young still and you've achieved, obviously so much in the last 3 years. You want to just run us through a little bit about, your background?
Yeah, it's a pretty normal background, I suppose. Finished school, and like a lot of kids who have an interest in stocks and such, I started studying finance and economics and banking at university. It's a 4-year program coming to the end of that, and I'm actually looking forward to finishing. I much prefer working and being involved in the real world to studying. But the university lifestyle was pretty easy going. I enjoy being able to play golf and stay up till 2 a.m. trading stocks, which I'm not sure I'll be able to do in 3 or 4 years' time. Nice.
And as obviously, you've seen Stake evolve and your own investing's evolve. Like, what's the thing that people that are coming into the market for the first time, and there seems to be a massive amount of media attention about new people rushing the market, and a lot of commentators seem to bash that idea, but you've got to start somewhere like you. So, what would you sort of say to, to people that are investing for the first time, which is about a quarter of Stake customers?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to find what sort of strategy suits you. I think it largely depends on your risk tolerance and your timeline. So not everyone can be trading short term because they've got the willingness and the patience to wait out several years. And then again, there are some people who don't have the patience, and maybe a short-term strategy is better for them. So I think find out what you're willing to trade or invest, your timeline, how much you're willing to risk, and then sort of find a strategy and sort of a mentor you can look up to in line with those values. And then I think you really do have to get involved. I don't think paper trading works for everyone. For me, I just don't care enough. So put your own money online, even if it's a little bit, because then your decisions mean a lot more to you.
Yeah, and you're managing the risk, right? Like if, the whole game is managing risk. It's about taking small losses, no matter what you're doing, and letting your winners run. So if you're paper trading, you just don't feel it, and you don't teach yourself how to manage yourself during, a live trade.
Yeah, it's largely psychological and risk management. I mean, especially in markets like this, it's not hard to find a stock that will go up. Stocks tend to go up. Actually making money is about managing the risk, and it's about the psychological side of trading.
Wow, we've got the oracle of what's over Oakley? Right, not quite Omaha, but probably, a little bit more lively.
Yeah, a little bit more lively, a little bit louder. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, and also, you wake up every morning and you took the mantle from me because, my kids, it's peak hour in the morning, and you started doing some commentary on AusBiz. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's right. Every morning to kick off AusBiz's daily coverage at 8:30, I run through what happened in the US overnight. That involves waking up at about 6:30, checking the moves. I mean, I'm usually up around there, checking my portfolio anyway. And then it's a really good chance to just reconcile what's gone overnight. It's a good learning experience for me because that sort of cements my ideas, makes me put my ideas into words, which is often quite difficult. And then I get to share what happened to however many viewers they have every morning.
So we should be billing you for that time, is that right?
Yeah, the full 2 hours.
All right, I'll send you the invoice. You can settle it, later on. And obviously, you also worked at a hedge fund during your time at university, which is really, really interesting. And I think we both know, like that you always had that ambition. You've taken it, which is amazing. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so after I spent some time at Stake, I wanted some more direct experience in the markets themselves, rather than sort of facilitating access to the markets. And very thankful to have been given the opportunity to do some work at a hedge fund.
Yeah, Sean's arm just sticking out, so he's waving at you. He's like, "Fucking stop it, AB, you're talking crap."
Yeah, I'm very used to that. Yeah, very different approach to what we discuss in the office. The technical approach, they base their strategy around merger arbitrage, which is quite unique. Not many funds in Australia do that, and sort of exploiting differences in prices between a stock that is getting bought out and the current price. So it's all about measuring. It's another exercise in risk, finding out what the probability of a deal going through is, and then sort of what price you're willing to pay for a particular stock.
So is it basically the price and also pricing in the, obviously merger arbitrage is like a beast in itself because there's so many complexities, the documentation that goes into each deal. Are they basically saying, what's the price that we've got a firm bid at? What's the delta, the chance that it doesn't go through? What's our downside if it doesn't go through? And what's the actual risk-adjusted return if someone comes and bids over the top? And pricing all that in to say, actually, the fair value for this is Y or X or Z. Is that sort of how it works?
Yeah, exactly. So say company X is trading at $80, then someone says, we'll acquire you for $100 a share. And that the stock price will generally shoot up. And then where that price settles is largely determinant on what the probability of the deal going through is, or that another offer will come through. So sometimes it trades at $105 just because people feel that a second offer will come through. Sometimes it only trades at 85 because it's a non-binding, very conditional sort of deal. So it's just figuring out what the right offer price for that stock is after a takeover bid comes through.
Yeah, I remember Bega Cheese in Australia had that, which is pretty interesting. I can't remember the exact mechanics, but that sort of situation happened where you had different parties that were jumping over each other. I don't even know where it ended up. I can't remember, but I remember that being like a phenomenon then. And obviously the wrap. Now, the wrap it's got an amazing open rate. I don't know if that's you. I mean, you've done an amazing job to to find little tidbits and even the brain teasers. Like, tell us the process in writing the wrap. I know it because I was there when you kicked it off, but it's you've taken it so much further. Do you want to tell us how you go through and write the wrap and how you find those bits of information that are just pure gold?
Yeah, my real focus is not really producing headlines. Like anyone can go on the Wall Street Journal or Bloomberg or turn on CNBC in the morning and get the headlines on who's merging with who, what went up and down. Don't find that particularly interesting. Try and find pieces of news that or research that most people won't find just flicking through their financial news homepage. And that involves, I suppose, just the combination of my own research. Every day I'm on Twitter, I'm on Reddit, I'm doing my own research, and I come across some great resources. Like for instance, there was one chart I saw the other day that blew my mind. It was the S&P 500 priced in terms of gold rather than in terms of US dollars. And really never looked at anything like that before, given, you know, the US dollar is devaluing so quickly, given the money supply is increasing so quickly. It was good to see it in another form of asset. So it's just things that I find that, you know, a lot of people wouldn't find just scrolling through their usual news sources.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And it's when you were obviously in the office, when we were good enough for you, yeah, it would be the things we were talking about. Or did you see this in Hong Kong? Or there was this short bet going on, or this guy's talking about this on Tesla. Just that banter that, you know, like the participants in the market have. And if you're on a trading floor, you're in a bank, you're at work, that's what you'd be talking about. Something unique that just is conversational. I think you've done an amazing job with that. And it's even my wife reads it now. So you've absolutely smashed it. And what's in store for AB? Is it are we going to see you running your own hedge fund in a few years? That's my bet.
Who knows? Hopefully the market keeps going strong and I can keep. Hopefully, well, I'd like to in 10 to 15 years' time sort of be doing this full time, trading stocks. But it's a really hard game to get into when you're low on capital, when you're in your early 20s and you haven't had a full-time job before. So for now, it's just learning my techniques, trying to master trading. And then as I work and build up my capital, who knows what it can turn into.
Well, the first thing should be stop buying expensive art and golf clubs, and I think you'll be okay.
I don't know if I can keep up. We'll stop doing that. It's probably my worst habit, a new driver every now and then.
What are you playing off these days?
Off about 14, which it should be way
nice.
Yeah, it should be in the single digits by now. But just like trading, it's a game of managing your emotion and managing your risk. And I don't do that as well on the golf course. I tend to go for it in two rather than laying up. Whereas when I'm trading, I'm much more conservative.
So you're more like John Daly than anyone else?
Yeah, I wish I could hit it that far, but probably got the same tempo on the course.
Nice. And in terms of just signing off, like, as I said, you ping me at not ungodly hours, pre-market, I'd say. They're good hours in the US. What are you looking at? Well, you know, this is a full disclaimer. Obviously, you know, Alex works a stake. So for all those out there, it's not advice. This is just what he's sort of seeing and keeping an eye on. And what is it? Do your own research. Asterisk. Do your own research.
You'd be a lot
DYOR.
to follow what I have to say. It doesn't always work. But one trend I've really been noticing recently is renewable related stocks, sustainability related stocks. Like obviously we've seen Tesla go off and with it a heap of electric vehicle manufacturers. We started with Nikola Motors. We've seen recently NIO, the Chinese equivalent. So I suppose we've seen Solo, a Canadian variation. They've been really hot stocks. And I suppose in that same thematic, that same topic, a lot of fuel cell sources, Plug Power, Ballard Power, they've been really hot stocks. Solar companies, we saw actually a couple of days ago, the two biggest retail solar companies actually merge, which is a huge deal. 40% and 20% each respectively, and continued the trend today. They're up again about 10% each overnight. So I was actually looking at the top 10 stocks by market cap every decade, and you'd be surprised how few repeat stocks are in that. We started talking.
So you think it's cyclical, these opportunities are like thematic in a way? Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see, you know, in 2030 what the biggest stocks will be, and wouldn't really be surprised given the start they've had to the decade if a lot of the sustainability stocks are right up there near the top.
Amazing. No, it's great. I mean, you hit me up at Sol and I thought, that chart's epic.
Missed out 1% in 2 days.
Yeah, no, it's my father-in-law got in it, my mates from Perth got in it. I think they owe you a beer, AB.
Take it to
No, it was It was pretty amazing, actually. When I looked at it, it was like $82 million market cap for, was it NASDAQ listed?
No, I don't think it's
for a company.
NASDAQ, but
it's definitely, well, it's an exchange traded stock, so it's obviously listed on one of the US exchanges. Just the fact that it's got a US listing, it's 82 mil, and it's sort of sitting in that space. It literally just doubled in 3 days.
Yeah, and the beauty is, like, some people say it's a penny stock, but there's just so much volume in this that really helps when you're trading it. It's not, I suppose, as risky as a penny stock where you could try and execute an order and, there's a 10% spread in your execution price. So even though it's small, there's so much volume in the States that it's not really a concern. The market cap, I suppose, in this particular case.
Yeah, no, that's for another day. I could talk about liquidity all day long. A journo called me this morning, and I was having a bit of a rant about there's a lot of negativity about market makers, and being a ex-market maker, I've got a deep affinity to what we bring to the market, but I'll save that for another day, AB. The last thing I want to touch on is your shoes and socks. At the beginning, I meant to break the ice, but obviously we've known each other, we're mates for a long time. You wearing anything interesting from your ankles down?
I've got my Sydney Uni socks on today, actually, the album. Wow. Bit quirky.
So is that like, Malcolm Turnbull's, a lot of alumni from, Sydney, I've been listening to his book, actually. It's pretty interesting, an audio book. So you're at your final year. Do you sort of see yourself doing a master's or something afterwards, or straight into the real world?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know yet. Depends where I end up in 6 months' time, who's willing to give me a job after university, how good my trading is, maybe even. So we'll see, but I don't know. Future studies are sort of the second option at this stage.
Well, you're always welcome here full time. The tea room needs a bit of cleaning, so if things are really dire, pop on by.
Yeah, as long as the Coke's being cleaned in the freezer, I'll consider coming.
Mate, we just did the employee survey. I think the fridge got 6 mentions. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't too bad. It was a good survey. Did you fill it in?
I didn't. Can if you'd like.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I know where you stand. Okay, AB, there's one thing. Will I see you at the you obviously know about the Nike collab we're doing with Barrat?
Yeah, definitely. I've got actually had to take my Nikes off to show off my socks, but I'll be there.
Mate, I just went to the gym. Nike. Brian just asked me what my first shoes were. I remember as a kid, they were Adidas Torsion Artillery. Like, I've got to find them somewhere. I'd pay over for them. So cool. What were your first shoes?
Oh, probably a pair of New Balances, the classic white dad shoes, running around in kindergarten in those.
The ones with the straps, you don't need the shoelaces up.
I was a very strict shoelace guy, no Velcro.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Well, look where you've come. Maybe, that's like the sign of things to come. I've got to get into that. So for all those listening, we're doing collaboration with Barrat, all about the trading, both in stocks and in shoes, massive market. There's billion-dollar companies that facilitate trading of shoes. There's a big market, people that collect shoes. The affinity to, everyone's a trader in some way, shape or form. You're always trading something. So it'll be really interesting. So hopefully I catch you there. I think we've got a few limited spots to see people in person, but someone of your fame should be able to get in through the front door. So hopefully I'll see you there.
I hope so. Hopefully I see you there.
Otherwise in the office for a bite to eat. AB, thanks for your time. I know it's precious, either, ruling the waves, airwaves, or you're on the golf course or in front of your screen. So to catch you for 20 minutes has been awesome. Thank you.
No, thanks so much, Matt. Very kind words.
All right, legend. I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Speak to you soon.
Thanks, mate.